Hey there everyone, Tiffany Quinn here, and this is our controlled core and lower back mobility workout. Through today's 30-minute routine, we'll be using body weight only exercises to not only sculpt your abs and obliques, but also strengthen into your deeper core as well as your lower back and lumbar spine area using a combination of mobility drills and core strengthening exercises. Now, the only two things you'll be needing for today's routine include a mat or a soft surface to work out on. This will provide cushioning for you as we move along our drills. And then you may also want to have a yoga block or two handy. This will help you decrease our range of motion within our passive stretch in case you needed to decrease the intensity. Now, smash that thumbs up button for me, subscribe to the channel for a new routine every week, and stay with me to the end where I'll be announcing what next month's free fitness guide will be, how you can benefit from it, and where to grab a hold of it. All right, everyone, let's do this. What's up, everyone? Welcome in for our lower back and core mobility workout. Now, what we've got today is an even split in half between our lower back mobility drills and our core strength exercises. So our first 14 minutes of the workout will be spent working on lumbar spine mobility as well as strength, and our timer will be set for 60 seconds work with no specific rest between. So you'll just be following along with me, and this is going to be one of my favorite lower back mobility drills. Now, something that I do want you to keep in mind is that the mobility drill will be an ab workout in and of itself. So if by the time we've hit the halfway point, you're feeling very fatigued in the abs and the obliques, know that it's okay to step away from the workout and come back to the second half at a later date or even a later hour of the day. So once we've hit that halfway point, I'll let you gauge where you're at. We're going to reset our timer for 40 seconds work with a 20-second rest between, and from there, it's pure core strength, sculpting, and defining. All right, so let's go into our first position. We're starting with a spinal warm-up for extension and flexion in a quadruped position. So the hands are coming below the shoulders, the knees are below the hips, and we want two straight lines formed there. Now, starting an extension with the head facing forward and the anterior tilt back with the hips, we're going to start by tucking the chin down, pressing our palms into the mat, rounding through the upper back, the mid back, coming to the lower back, tucking the hips under, and then we're going to come back up the way we came. So the head is going to lift, we walk it down to the mid spine, the lower spine, and repeat. So let's go ahead and get into our first position. I'm starting our timer in 3, in 2, starting an extension. In 1, we're facing forward, we're in spinal extension, we're going to tuck the chin down, build full body tension, press those palms into the mat as you round through the upper back, walk it down to the mid back, to the lower back, tuck those hips under, and coming back up with the chin coming up, walking it down the mid back, all the way down to the lower back, into extension, and back into flexion, starting with the chin, tucking down, rounding through the upper spine, walking it down to the mid spine, take your time, and tucking those hips under. And now again, from where we came, lift that chin up, keeping that full body tension, walking it down the mid spine, the lower spine, into extension. And once you've reached that extension, we're going to reverse it. So now we're gonna start by tucking the hips under, walking up the mid spine into flexion, pressing those palms firmly into the mat, straightening those arms, tucking the chin forward into full flexion, and then we extend from the low back to start, segmenting all the way up, feeling it go up the back, vertebrae by vertebrae, slow and controlled here, breathing throughout, tucking at the low back once again. We've got 2 more reps here. Rounding through the mid spine, the upper spine, all the way down, tucking that chin forward, and we're coming back into extension from the low back, tilting the hips back, walking it up, breathing throughout, and you can relax. Okay, from here, before we even go into our first passive stretch base, or the exercise that follows, I do want to show you how to utilize that yoga block in case you do need it. So what these are going to do is help you decrease the intensity of our stretch today. So our passive stretch base is going to be in a reverse tabletop. The arms are extending out to the sides, the palms are going to be down on the floor. We're going to lift both legs into that tabletop position, forming a really nice 90-degree angle here. Now we're going to rotate from one side to the other. So if you are not able to come all the way down here, we're going to use that block or 2 or 3, however many you need to decrease that intensity. We're going to lower to the side and allow that to be our stopping point. So you can use either books or blocks or any kind of leverage to elevate yourself. All right, so if the lower back is a problematic area for you, you're going to want to keep the intensity low today. Listen to your body and stay in pain-free ranges of movement throughout. So we're coming onto our backs into our first warm-up exercise for our passive stretch base. The hands are out to the sides, lifting both legs into tabletop. Let's flex the feet. We're squeezing the core, bracing the abs tight as we rotate from left as far down as you can, keeping both shoulders on the mat, and over to the right. Breathing as you go along, keeping that core super tight, keeping both palms firmly on the mat. This is going to feel absolutely amazing by the end. And remember, if you need to elevate yourself a bit, that is okay. Over to the right. Lifting up through the obliques, trying to squeeze out lower back rotation as you come down. Now gently bring yourself to neutral, and from here we're going into our first 2-minute passive stretch. So we're gonna lower the legs and the knees down towards the mat, slow and controlled, slow, 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 all the way down until you reach the floor or the blocks that you're using as your stopping point. And we're going to relax here with our same side hand over the same side knee. So that top leg, we're gonna gently press it down and bring that upper leg just up a bit if that feels more comfortable for you. If you want, you can also leave it right there, that's okay. But right now we're just relaxing into this stretch and trying to create a bit more passive range by pressing lightly on the knee at the top. So we're gonna breathe here for a bit. We've got another 1.5 minutes, and while we lay here and ease into this stretch, I'm going to explain to you our isolated contractions. So first we've got a stretch and we've got a contraction. Our stretch is the P.A.I.L.S contraction. The R.A.I.L.S is going to be our contraction. So now that we're in this position here, you're gonna feel the stretch along the outer hip as well as the obliques. When I tell you to do your P.A.I.L.S contraction, we're going to keep that blocking hand where it is above the knee, and we're going to brace our core to start driving our knee up towards the ceiling as if we were performing this motion here. On our R.A.I.L.S contraction, we're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to squeeze that core tight and try to get more lower back rotation, squeezing the abs down to the floor. This will take some practice. It's not the easiest thing to do, but try to think about creating that motion up and creating that motion down. You will not actually see those legs raise because we're gonna be blocking that. All right, so let's get ready for our first of 2 P.A.I.L.S contractions. I want you to take a 4-second inhale through the nose. As you exhale, I want you to brace that core tight and slowly, gradually start driving your knee up towards the ceiling. It's slow build up to that intensity, fighting for your greatest effort and safest pain-free effort. Keep fighting, driving that knee up for 3, for 2, core is nice and tight. We're pulling up through the obliques. On 1, we're going to reverse that direction and drive those knees down to the floor, trying to squeeze out more lower back rotation. Keep fighting. You're contracting those abs. They should be burning for 3, for 2. On 1, slowly release that tension. All right, so that is your first of 2 P.A.I.L.S contractions. We're gonna rest here for about 30 seconds and then we go into our next contraction. Just breathing. Now, if you can, try to bring yourself into a bit more passive range by pressing that hand down. Get ready for our next P.A.I.L.S contraction. In 2, brace that core tight. In 1, we're going to start driving that knee up towards the ceiling like we're coming into that rotation to neutral, driving the knee up, working into your safest and greatest intensity. It's a slow build up. Keep fighting for 3, for 2, on 1, switch the direction, drive those knees down towards the mat, try to squeeze out more lower back rotation, squeezing those abs and obliques. They should be lighting up. For 3, keep driving down. For 2, on 1, when I tell you to release, it's slow release of that tension. And from here, you can bring yourself back into neutral. All right, we're going to take a 1-minute break here. So you're gonna relax those legs down. If you want, you can stretch things out a little bit. I don't want you to fatigue too quickly, so we are taking that momentary break, and then we're going back into our position for our second side. All right, so just like that, we are almost through it, right? We covered the one side, now it's over to the other. So keep in mind, you want to stay in that pain-free range. So if at any point you feel like some sort of sharp or stabbing or just odd discomfort, I want you to back out of that range and decrease the intensity. It's not 0 to 100, especially with the P.A.I.L.S. We're slowly, gradually building up that tension, increasing the drive, but we don't want to go 0 to 100, all right? So not forcing it, building up to it. All right, so let's come on to our other side now. Palms are out to the sides, down on the mat. We're gonna lift both legs into tabletop. Make sure you've got that 90-degree angle. Now slowly lower to the opposite side you were working. Slow and controlled, again, using that block if you need to, keeping both shoulders firmly on the mat until you reach down to your lowest and safest point here. Now you can take that top hand, and if you want, you can gently drive that top leg up a little bit and start pressing down a little bit more to create that passive stretch, increasing our range of motion here. So now that we're in our passive stretch position, you can kind of relax into this, just breathe, listen to my voice, rant away. And we have 2 P.A.I.L.S and R.A.I.L.S contractions. So our P.A.I.L.S is the stretch along the outer hip, and then our R.A.I.L.S is our contraction in the opposite direction. We're applying directional input to our isolated hold here. 2-minute stretch. If you can, try to squeeze those abs to drive a little bit more down, and then relax once again. So you've got 1 more minute here, and then we go into our first P.A.I.L.S contraction. So you're really trying to picture not using your legs to lift yourself up. You're squeezing the obliques. You're squeezing them to bring the legs up towards the ceiling without actually performing that movement. So you're gonna feel that, all right? You're gonna feel it tense up. 30 more seconds. Get yourself prepared mentally. I know it is taxing and a little tricky at first, right? You might have to revisit this a couple times. All right, we're going to go ahead very soon. I want you to take a 4-second inhale through the nose. As you exhale, I want you to brace that core super tight. Now start driving the knee up into our P.A.I.L.S contraction. Slow, gradual buildup of intensity. Building up to your greatest and safest effort for 3. Keep fighting. 2. On 1, you're going to switch into your R.A.I.L.S, driving those knees down towards the mat, squeezing out more lower back rotation, squeezing the abs, squeezing the obliques. For 3, keep fighting, you're almost there. For 2, on 1, slowly release that tension and that full body brace, and you can drive that hand down just a little bit more to squeeze out more rotation. All right, you've got another 30 seconds. We've got our second P.A.I.L.S and R.A.I.L.S contraction to do. And from there, we have 1 more exercise, and then we're going to switch to our core strengthening sculpt, which is also going to inherently work the lower back in such a way that it strengthens it, all right? Just enjoy this, ease into it. I want you to start taking that 4-second inhale through the nose. As you exhale, you're going to brace that core, brace the entire body, and start driving into your P.A.I.L.S contraction, working your way up towards the ceiling, pressing into that blocking hand, like you're creating that motion back to neutral. Keep fighting for 3, for 2. On 1, switch the contraction into rails. You're gonna squeeze those obliques, try to fight for more lower back rotation, using the obliques to drive those knees down towards the mat. For 3, keep fighting. For 2, when I tell you to release, it's nice and slow. On 1, gently release that tension. All right, we are going to come into our neutral position. Let's just relax here for a moment into our recovery. And then our final exercise for our mobility drills is going to be our windmills side to side, exactly what we started with. Okay. I want you to bring those legs back up to neutral. Oh, do you feel that burn? And from here, we're going to start with where we were, where we go from side to side in those windmills, squeezing the abs and obliques. If you want to stop your legs from doing the work, because sometimes the adductors can get a bit active, you can place a block between them, and that might help turn them off a little bit. So over to the right, slow and controlled. Over to the left, we're gonna do 4 reps either side. Second one on the right. Second one on the left. 2 more reps each side. Once you've finished 4 reps each, you can go ahead and stop. Breathing throughout, using that core to lift you up. Last one over to the left. And raise yourself up to neutral and relax those legs down. All right, so as I had mentioned before I even switch our timer, like I said, it is an ab workout in and of itself for our mobility drills. So if you're feeling very fatigued, the abs are lit up, you're feeling like I can't take any more, it is okay to come back to that second half either at a later date or maybe later in the day, okay? Listen to your body and listen to what it tells you. So we're switching into our 40 seconds on and 20 seconds rest. By the way, if you are cutting out at the halfway point, repeat the exercise we started with for our spinal segmentation with extension and flexion. But anyhow, let's get into our next position. From here, it's all ab exercise, sculpting and defining, and working lower back, strengthening it. So we're straightening the legs in front to start. We want to be as upright as possible, but you can modify by leaning a bit more, all right? So the hands are gonna come to your sides or behind you, whichever feels more comfortable. We're gonna squeeze that core tight, and our first move for this circuit is going to be to lift on the left, lower, lift on the right, lower, all right? So we're getting started. In 3, let's get into position. Hopefully you've grabbed some water. In 2, in 1, trying to stay upright, squeezing the core tight, lift left, lower, lift right, lower. 1, 2, 1, 2, great job. Starting us off small and simple. Waking things back up again, as if they weren't woken up enough. Lift, lower, lift, lower. If you need to modify, you can come down a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 5 more, 4 more. Try to kick a little bit higher, 3 more, 2 more. Last one, and lower that leg down. Now, if you do have a yoga block nearby, you can use it for this next move. What we're going to do is lift. We're going to hover to the left, out, down, lift, hover, in, down. So in 5 seconds, we're going to go back to that starting position we were in, trying to stay upright if you can, and we're gonna lift on the left, come out, lower, lift, in, lower, slow and controlled. Leg raise, bring it in, tap down. Leg raise, bring it out, tap down. If you want it to be harder, you could stack those blocks, try to lift a little bit higher, or you could take it out a little bit further. So you have 2 options to challenge yourself here. 1, 2, and tap. 1, 2, and tap. Another 4, and 3, and 2. Last one, in, lower, and we go straight over to the other side. So this is a bit of a tedious ab workout, I will tell you that. Right now, we're kind of activating that lower abs area while we work on hip flexion which will affect our lower back. All right? In 3, in 2, in 1, flex that foot, lift, bring it out, lower, lift, hover in, lower. 1, 2, tap. 1, 2, tap. Slow and controlled. Focusing straight ahead, squeezing that core tight, chest is lifted and proud. It's only 40 seconds each exercise, and we've only got 16 minutes in total. After this, we do come to our back, by the way. 1, 2, and tap. 1, 2, and tap. Last 3. Last 2. Last one in, lower it down, and we can come onto our back from here. So again, we'll be working both sides at a time, alternating. Now this time I want you to straighten the legs out. We can lift the chest, tucking the chin forward, and we're gonna create that anterior tilt with the hips. So we wanna arc backwards, believe it or not, yes we do. Now we're going to bring the left knee in, gently pull with the hands, and extend. Right knee in, gentle pull with the hands, and extend. At your own pace, at your own intensity. Trying to fight for a bit more flexion forward every time you drive that knee up. Actively raising, passive pull, and extend. Alternating as we go. How you guys feeling? Your back should feel pretty good after that. Your obliques, on the other hand, probably a bit sore tomorrow. Last one on that right side, and extend. And now I'm gonna shimmy down so we can get into our next position, which is lifting both legs into tabletop, kind of what we started with, but a little bit different. So we're going left side first. If you want, you can also drop that other leg down if that's easier for you and you need to. We're going to tap down, come to neutral, extend straight, back to neutral. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are out of anterior rotation, by the way. The back is flat on the mat. Now we're tucking those hips forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which if you've done this exercise with me before, I know that you know that, but it is important to say. Tap down, knee in, extend, knee in. 2 more reps, full reps. Extend and in, last one. Let's burn that timer out. Extend, bring it in, and if you want for that rest, you can bring those legs down. Otherwise, you can keep them in hover. We're going straight over to the other side. Almost to the halfway point of our interval circuit. If the neck is bothering you, by the way, you can relax the head down. I like to activate the upper abs, so I'm lifting up, starting with our tap down on the right, knee in, single leg straight in, knee in. 1, 2, breathing through out and in. Exhale, inhale, exhale through the mouth, inhale through the nose. 1, 2, back is flat and in. Ab workouts have always been very calming for me. I think it's because it's what I started with, but I do get very excited about them too. It's reminding myself to slow it down, that's tough. Last one on this side, last straight in, bring it in, and you can lower down. We're actually gonna come back to an upright position, this time on the forearms. We're going to extend both legs straight. Now to modify, you're gonna stay down here. We're gonna kick lower as one drops down, the other goes up. Otherwise, we're in hover to start. Again, one leg down, one leg up. 1, 2, a little more up tempo. Back is straight. Head is in line with the neck, in line with the spine, in line with the back. 1, 2, now speed it up. 1, 2, 1, 2, great job. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slow it back down. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more, and bring it up, and you can lower it on down. This is officially our halfway point. We've only got 7 more minutes, maybe 8 more minutes to go. So we're coming back to our backs once again. Now we're gonna lift both legs straight, starting off pretty simple. Flexing the feet, hands below for support if you need it. The left leg drops down. We pulse and raise into our single leg drops. 1, 2, slowly raise to the ceiling. Straighten those legs out as much as you can. I like to have my hands in a diamond shape below the tailbone with my thumbs and index fingers touching. Helps with that support, keeping your lower back, your entire back, flat on the mat throughout, unless you want to have that chest lifted to make things a little bit harder. Last 3. Last 2. 1 more. Now for that rest, if you want, you can hold it down. Again, if you're feeling very fatigued, it is okay to bring that leg up. I do like to offer you some challenges though, those of you who are pretty advanced. We've got 10 seconds, then it's over to the other side. In 4, 3, bring that leg up. On 1, we lower, drop, raise. You can also modify by keeping that leg a bit higher. Not a problem. We don't want to work our lower back, we want to strengthen it, which means we also want to work into the core and keep our back flat. The abs should be engaged, you should be squeezing that core nice and tight. Down, pull slowly up. 2, 3, and raise. 3 more. 2 more. Remember, we've got that hold if you'd like. 1 more. Now, if you want to and you're more advanced, you can keep that leg nice and low, or even you could keep it right here. It's still going to be a challenge. Creating that scissor-like figure here. 10 seconds. Keep those legs nice and straight. Feel that tremble. In 3, you might hate me in a second. 2, on 1, lift that leg. We've got a double leg drop. As low as you can, keeping the back firmly on the mat, and up. Slow and controlled at your own pace. I don't want to dictate the tempo too much today because everyone is going to feel a bit different in their abs after that. I know for me, that one really hits. It kicks and it burns. It has pretty much rescued my lower back from a lot of irritation. And raise. We've got 1 more here, and you can come back to neutral in our tabletop position. We are revisiting the exercise that we started with, and I'm going to show you how to make a progression on it to make it more challenging. Remember, you don't have to, all right? So those hands are out to the sides. We're squeezing that core nice and tight. In 2. In 1, we're going to gently lower to the left, controlled, not letting it just fall. And if you want this to be harder, we straighten, come in to neutral and switch. Straighten and in to neutral and switch. Slow, breathing throughout. Both shoulders stay on the mat. So if you feel that that shoulder is lifting at all, I'd like you to back out of that range of motion a bit. Extend and in to neutral. Last one on the right side. Extend, bring it in, slowly bring yourself to neutral, and you can stay in this position. We are not quite done yet. We've got windmills to one side at a time. Yeah, we're just kicking it up a notch, like 1 notch at a time, okay? Almost done though. You've got this. If you stayed for this one, then you are a true champion. We're all at different stages though, I'm totally kidding. All right, let's lift those legs up. We're starting with the left side. Drop, extend, bring it in to neutral. You can also try even just the top leg extends, bring it in and back to neutral. Test that core strength. Staying in your pain-free, safe zone. We're almost there. Take your time. Last one, slowly bring it in, finish up the rep you were on, and we're going to switch sides from here. 20-second rest. I also gave you a bit of an extended rest today because I do want to make sure that you're able to brace your core before we go into those following moves. So we're going over to our other side. And I'm assuming 6 seconds. Oh, right on the money. All right, let's bring those legs up in 2, in 1. Slow, controlled hover down, extend, bring it in, and neutral. Do not have to do that extension. You can stay in that tabletop if you'd like. You're doing a fabulous, incredible, amazing job. Don't give up yet. Over to the side, extend if you can, bring it in, pulling up through the obliques. One more exercise, then we revisit our spinal extensions and flexions. Back to neutral and our final exercise. Again, you can skip this one and fast forward 40 seconds. Those of you who are super, super advanced here, you're gonna like this one. We're gonna straighten those legs out towards the ceiling. Hands are out to the side, both shoulders stay on the mat. The range of motion is going to decrease here, all right? We're lowering to the right, about halfway, to center or even a quarter of the way, maybe 10 degrees, that's all right. Take it slow. Just advancing the move we were just working on. Core is so tight. Rotating like we're squeezing water out of a dish rag. Back to center, over to the left, we're almost there. Hold it to the left for 4, 3, on 2, slowly bring yourself up, go to your other side at end range, hold 4, 3, 2, and back to center, and you can roll it on up into our quadruped position, the hands below the shoulders, starting from the neck and in extension. So we're facing upward and we've got our pelvic tilt back into our anterior rotation. In 2, in 1, brace your body. We're gonna tuck that chin down towards the floor, towards the chest, press the palms into the mat, and rounding through the upper back, walking it down to the mid back, to the lower back, tucking the pelvic bones under, and repeating from the top. Bringing the head up, slowly into extension, walking it down, 1 vertebrae at a time. 1 more rep here, tuck it down, press into the mat, coming into spinal flexion, tucking the hips under, raising. We're gonna work right through that rest, continuing with our spinal extension and flexion, still working through the top to the bottom. Tucking the hips under, and let's come back into extension. And now we're going to reverse that direction, same thing. So we're going to start with that pelvic bone tucked under, and rounding through the mid-spine, the upper spine, tucking the chin forward, pressing the palms into the mat, into full spinal flexion. And we're going to extend, starting from the low back, anterior tilt, walking it up the mid-spine, the upper spine, all the way to the neck. 3 more reps, full reps. Now this does take some practice, but the more that you do them, you're going to start to feel things open up a bit. It has really, really helped me. All right, tuck those hips under, all the way up, rounding through the upper spine into spinal flexion. Come up as high as you can, and back into extension from the lower spine, anterior tilt, all the way up, and bring yourself back up to the center of your mat and give yourself a mega high five. So whether you stuck it through the entire workout, those of you who are very advanced, amazing job. And those of you who came back to revisit the second half, also amazing job. These exercises that we've used today were all designed to help you build lower back strength. And of course, our first section of it was to build strength in the lower back, as well as increase our mobility and strengthen the joints, all right? Now, one thing to know is that if you are feeling incredibly rocked tomorrow, you're like, I really think I overdid it, listen to that, okay? If you feel like you went a little too hard, you're probably right. So the next time you revisit this, you'll want to decrease the intensity you were at and really, truly hone into that feeling when you're going too hard. The mobility drills that we're doing, you really want to take within your own ability, your own capability, and adhere to that pain-free range of motion. All of your adaptations will happen within time. So where you might not be able, maybe you needed 3 blocks for that mobility drill, give it a few months, maybe 2 months. You're gonna start to gradually see those blocks decrease. Maybe you'll need 2, maybe you'll need 1, and eventually you'll be down at the floor, all right? So let me know how you got along. Share this with someone you think it might help. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you for our next workout, which is actually going to be announced in the following close. Thanks for joining me for today's routine, everyone. I'm sure that your back is feeling incredible by now, but do know that it is entirely normal to feel a bit sore in the abs and the obliques, especially after a workout like we did today. Now get yourself ready for next Wednesday by grabbing a hold of your March fitness guide from the links below. When you open up that PDF calendar, you'll see that there are 5 workouts a week to complete and a brand new one every Wednesday. Now our focus for next month is going to be on building lean muscle definition. So within each new upload, we'll be using trisets format to increase our time under tension and our tolerance for it. Now, once you open up that PDF guide, the YouTube icons are clickable icons to each day's workout. And if for any reason they don't work on your phone, you can always go to the playlist section of my channel for those days in order. We'll be kickstarting this off on March 6th with a total body dumbbells workout, so be sure to turn your notifications on, like the video for me, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to let me know how you got along today and how you felt by the end. All right, everyone, I'll see you for the next one.